Hello guys, welcome back to our Python beginner to advanced course day 3. Today we are going to discuss about variables and data types. Now let's see what are variables. Generally variables are nothing but their values can be changed anytime. But in Python, variable is just a name that is given to the memory location to store any value. For example, if we store 32 in A, this A is a variable because it is storing a value. What are data types in Python? Data type is nothing but the type of value that we are going to store inside a variable. What data types basically does is it tells the Python interpreter that which value or which type of value we are going to store inside a variable. For example, I stored 32 in A. This is a variable name and this is the type of data that I stored in the variable. So here I stored 32, it is probably an integer. So while executing the program, these data types are gonna tell to Python interpreter that which type of value that we have stored in our variable. So let's see few data types with examples. In Python, primarily we use 5 types of data types. First one is integers. -1 is an integer, 0 is an integer, 45 is also an integer. The second data type is float. Float is nothing but any value that contains. Second data type, float. Float is nothing but any value that contains decimal point. 3.6 is a float, 1.5 is a float, 5.666 is also a float. Basically any value that consists of decimal point is a float. The third type is string. String is nothing but anything that is enclosed in double quotes or single quotes is basically a string. Example, if I put my name here, this is a string. If I put anything, even if I put any number here, it is a string. Even if I put -1 or anything, whatever I put, even if I put space in between them, that space is also a string because that is enclosed in between single quotes. We can write string in two ways, either in single quotes or in double quotes. So both are strings. Now next data type is boolean. Boolean is nothing but its value consists of just true or false, nothing else. For example, if I say true, this is a boolean value. If I say false, this is also a boolean value. Here a is a variable and equals to is an operator which we are gonna see in few minutes, and false is a boolean value. Our next data type is none. None is nothing but you can say 0 or -1 or nothing. It won't store anything. It is simply nothing, none. So here it shows a doesn't contain anything. It is none, 0 or whatever, or false. So we already discussed about what are variables and data types, right? So now we will see few rules for defining a variable name. First rule is a variable can contain alphabets and numbers. A variable name can be anything from A to Z and 0 to 9. We can use either alphabets or numbers, and both together we can use. And second rule is, and variable name must start with an alphabet. Like if I say is equals to 32, this is okay. I can say 1a is equals to 32 because a variable name must start with an alphabet. It can start with a number. So but I can use a1 because our rule is satisfied because our variable name starts with alphabet. This is perfect. Cool. Moving to our third rule, it can start with an underscore. Our variable name can even start with an underscore. This is perfect. And as I told you before, our fourth rule, it should not start with a number. And our fifth rule, it should be written without any space. So that means you can give space in between our variables. Is equals to 32. This is false. This is wrong. Why? According to our rule, we can't include space in between our variable names. In place of giving space, we can use underscore. That would solve our problem. Look, now this is true. This is perfect. So these are important rules we have to remember when we declare any variable name. Our next topic is operators. So what are operators? They're nothing but symbols that are used to perform specific task. So when you include them in our code, they do a specific task. They can be equals to, sign, or plus, or minus, or forward slash, anything. So there are 4 types of operators. First one is arithmetic operators. These, an example here you can see plus, minus. The star is basically multiplication in coding language, and slash. These operators are used to perform mathematical functions, like plus is used for addition, minus for subtraction, multiplication and division. And second one is assignment operators. So example is equals to, plus is equals to, minus is equals to, and etc. These are used to assign a value to the variable. Okay, let me show you. Suppose if I say a is equals to 32. So this is a variable name, and this is a value, and this is assignment operator equals to. So what this equals to basically does is, it is gonna store this 32 value in a. In other words, we can say this operator is gonna assign a with value 32, and this plus equals to, minus equals to, we will see in future videos. You don't need to worry about them now. Our other type is comparison operators. Example, double equals to, greater than, less than, and greater than or equals to, and less than or equals to. These are basically used to compare the two values. Suppose if a is 3 and b is 45, if you want to check both, if you want to check whether they are equal, or a is greater than b or b is greater than a, anything, then we can use this comparison operator. The example for these we will see in practice set. So our next type is logical operators, that is a, or, and not. These we will see in future videos, so you don't need to worry about that. Just know these types for now. And I want to give a little example to explain you about the variables and operators and data types. So let's say b value I'm gonna give 78. So what this basically does, so b, let us compare b with a water bottle and 7 as water. So if you want to fill this bottle b with this 78 water, we need to use our hand, right? We need to use our hand. By using our hand, we fill the bottle with water, right? So this is what an operator is. An operator or assignment operator is used to store this water inside this bottle. What you should understand from this, B is nothing but a memory location. 78 is nothing but a type of data, and B is equals to is nothing but an operator which is used to store this 78 value in this memory. Moving on to our next topic, typecasting. So what is the use of this type function actually? Okay, let me show you. I store, here you can see I store 78 in B, right? If I wanna see what type of value that I stored in B, I can simply say type of B, and if I say print, if I say print A, let's see what's gonna happen. Look, it is gonna say what type of value we stored in a variable. So here I stored 78 in B, which is obviously an integer, so it is gonna return int here. And if you don't want to write this extra line, you can directly put this line inside the print function. This is also same. Look, int. Suppose if I put my name inside B, now let's see which type of value we're gonna get. So it is gonna say string, so obviously anything that is inside a double quote is a string. So the use of this type function is to return the type of data that we stored inside a variable. Cool. Moving on to our next topic, what is typecasting? Typecasting is nothing but converting the value from one data type to other data type. Let me show you with an example. Here I put B, here let's say 32, and if I run this, it will show obviously int, right? But I wanna convert these 32 into a string, so I can say and str into what I wanna change, B. Now if I run this, what I should get here, the value of B is 32, that is basically int, right? Now so we should get int. Now let's see why, but we got string here. Why? What I did here is I converted the B into string, so it is nothing but I converted an integer into a string. So if you wanna convert string into an integer, simply you can put int here and what you wanna change. If you wanna convert into float, I can say float. And now let's run and let's see what happens. It's gonna show float. So what I basically did here, I converted the integer value into float. So this is the conversion of data type from one data type to other data type. This is known as typecasting. Cool. You're gonna understand much in practice set, so you don't need to worry. Moving on to our next topic, what is input function? So basically I already gave the value of b as 32, so this value is fixed here. I can't change this. I can change this, but this is fixed for this program. I mean, if I give same sum with a different, if I give same sum with a different value, you need to write a totally new program, right? But instead of doing this, we can take the input from user during the execution time. So how to do that? So we can take input from user by following this line: input, and what you wanna show, enter any number. And if we print this, okay, let's run, then you can understand better. So it is gonna ask us like enter any number. If I say 45 and if I press enter, it should print. Now this 45 is stored in this A. This 45 will be stored in this A, and I asked to print the A. So now I should, so it will print 45. If I run this again, and it is gonna ask to enter a value again. If I give my name and if I press enter, now this name is stored in this A, and I printed the A. Cool. I want to show you something, guys. Here, before I put a number, right? 56 I say here, 56 suppose, and if I press enter, it is gonna put 56 here. It is gonna print 56 here, right? But I wanna see which type it returns. Let's say type of A. Now if I print this, it will ask us to enter any value, and if I say 45, it shows string. But why? I give 45. 45 is an integer, right? But why it is showing string? Here the input statement takes string as a default. So whatever you put your name, a decimal thing or whatever, it will take string by default. But this is gonna become a big headache when we are trying to add an integer and a string. That is not possible to add an integer and a string. So in order to take input in integer form, we need to add one more thing here, int, and we put all these things inside this int function. And let's run again. If we say 67 and if I press enter, look, now our program is taking input in integer. So if I put float here, float, and if I press run, and if I press 45, and if I press enter, it should show float. Look, this is how we take input from user in whatever data type we want. If you don't put anything here, simply it will take string. You don't need to worry about that. I hope you guys understood. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. I'll reply. With this, we came to an end of our lecture. Now let us solve our practice set. Our practice set first problem. Write a program to add two numbers. This is very easy. Suppose take value 45, b value 56, and we need to add this. Print a speed. That's all. Now our second problem, write a program to find the remainder when the number is divided by 3. Suppose if I take a value 21 and our question is we should divide this by 3 and we need to print the remainder. So if I say print a should be divided by 3, right? Let's print 7.0, but this is quotient, but in our question they ask for remainder. Now let's say if we want to get remainder, we should use this percentage symbol. This is nothing but this operator is called modulus division. This will return remainder value. This normal slash will return quotient value. If I run this, we're gonna get 0. If I put a value as 20 and if I run it, it will show 2 because 20 is not completely divisible by 3. Moving on to our next question, check the type of variable assigned using input function. This I already showed you during the lecture. Like when I take the input and when I print the type, it is showing string, and I already showed you how to take integer input, float input. I already showed you in the lecture. So question 3 is done. Now coming to question number 4, choose comparison operators to find whether a is greater than b or not. Take a value is 45 and b value is 34. Okay, let's take a value 45. Okay, let's take a value 45 given in the question, and b value 34, and we need to check which is greater, and our question is we should check a is greater than b or not using comparison operator. Print a greater than b. So what this operator will check whether a is greater than b or not. Now let's print and let's see what will happen. It is giving our value true. That means our a is greater than b. Suppose if I put b value as 56 and if I run this, it should show false because 45 is not greater than 56, right? Now moving on to our next question, write a program to find the average of two numbers entered by the user. So you guys need to solve this question. So write a Python program to find the average of two numbers. You know how to find the average, right? Sum of quantities by number of quantities. So these numbers should be entered by the user. So keep this line in mind. Whenever you see entered by the user, that means you should take input by the user using input function. So here you need to take two numbers as input, and first you need to add them and we need to divide it by 2 to get the average. Let's see whether you can do it or not. Solve this program and post your answer in our Telegram group and I will check, and our Telegram group link is in the description. And sixth question is also very easy. Write a Python program to calculate the square of the number entered by the user. So I will show you. You solve the fifth one. I want square of the number, so I want the input to be in integer form. Here you can write anything in this double quotes because it will print as it is, because it is a string. So in order to find the square, we need to just multiply the number with itself again. That is basically square, right? Cool. Now I can print square of any number. 89. If I say, it will print 89 square. If I print 20, it's gonna print 20 square. If I put 6, it's gonna put 6 square. Alright, so you guys need to solve this 5th question and post your answer in our Telegram group, and if you have any doubts, post them in the comment box and I'll reply them for sure. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.